Welcome to Leading the Follower with your host, Rebecca Benston. Hi, welcome to Leading the Follower. It's me, Rebecca Benston. I'm back after a very, very long break, and I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the things that have been going on in the world. So, here you go. I try to keep an open mind, and as a rule, I'm not the most trusting person in the world. So, when I'm seeking out news that resonates with what I've known to be true, I often find that I have to listen broadly, pick through what I'm hearing, and hold on to what makes the most sense. Throwing the rest away, or as some might say, eating the meat and throwing away the bones. Um, and that's probably the best strategy in today's uncertain media climate. At one time, believe it or not, I wanted to be a journalist, but today I would never consider being painted with that brush. The reputation of journalists has been so tarnished that the profession appeals to me about as much as maybe a used car salesman, a proctologist, or an attorney. And I kind of lump those all together for a reason. In short, no thanks. I stopped watching the news many years ago, long before it was being called fake news, and way before all of these underground journalists were in the mix trying to combat the rampant and widespread misinformation campaigns we see today. Mostly, I stopped watching back then because I got tired of seeing reporters chase people down when were right in the midst of a tragedy. They were trying to get the fresh scoop on the emotional impact of the chaos of the day. I think the moment that got me, the moment that I stopped watching the news on a regular basis, was when I saw a famous newscaster interviewing a victim of a shark bite. And he asked this victim, how did it feel when the shark bit you? Well, I think at that moment I said, I'm done with these people. I mean, like, how do you think it felt? Would you like to try it out so that you have the benefit of a firsthand experience? I'm guessing you don't want that. So why report? Why report on these things as though you're salivating for a twinge of the misery that person's experiencing, so that you can fling that out at your viewers in hopes of shocking them into being interested in you? It was disgusting. And although that particular journalist is no longer in the thick of it, thank God, the whole industry continues to be disgusting. The news became so filled with heartbreaking and disgusting revelations about the awful things that people do to each other that I had to skip it in order to maintain my sanity. It was as though they were trying to desensitize me so that I would look the other way when I saw people committing crimes. Either that, or they were just trying to scare me into submission for one reason or another. As the years went by, I noticed that the content only got worse. And though I'm not under any mistaken impression about the pervasiveness of evil, I couldn't imagine that things were really as terrifying as they were making them out to be on the news. I turned it off and refused to be bullied into believing that I had to look over my shoulder every minute of the day. Now, I was basically uninterested in politics or news for many years until we reached about 2016. At that time, I started paying attention. Things weren't adding up, and those whom I had thought were good, upstanding citizens were starting to show their true colors. After years of voting Democrat, I began to doubt whether I was affiliated with the right party. They were beginning to lean more towards supporting all of the things that went against God's word, and doing so more blatantly with each passing year. And for a little while, I thought we were going to be okay. Our president at that time came in and started to do some really great things. He was fixing things in spite of massive opposition. He even had the price of prescription drugs down to something manageable. And he wasn't afraid to call things as he saw them, no matter how unpopular it made him with the other side. Up to that point in time, I was so unpatriotic that I had dreamed on many occasions of leaving the country. I couldn't stand all of the flag waving and old fashioned American pride back then. It just seemed overbearing to me. But little by little, I began to understand why so many people were so proud to be US citizens. I began to actually care what happened to this country. And now my heart breaks as I witness the damage that has been done by people who never intended to instill any national pride in anyone who voted for them. There's an absolute mess being made by people who have spent their lives in politics with the sole intention of improving their own status above everyone else's. And somehow, even when it is put right in front of people, they aren't seeing it. Whether that's because they don't want to see it or because they've been conditioned to look the other way, doesn't really matter. The truth is that they simply aren't awake to reality. Thanks for stopping by. Be sure to check out our website and blog. The blog is at www.leading-the-follower.com. Thanks and God bless.